What up, everybody?
Hello,
We are
how's it
live.
going?
It is fantastic Tuesday. I was trying to
That's
alliterate
right.
so bad, and I got nothing.
It's Tuesday flavor.
Is it? Is that it? Is it just Tuesday flavored? Is that? I can never remember. I always think like tastes like Tuesday,
Tastes like
which
Tuesday.
That would
if you're
make
like
more sense in line with like it tastes like Tuesday and smells like Thursday, but I
yeah,
What are
yeah,
what are some
totally
other
different.
description words for Tuesday? How do we
Thunder
soak in
is
Tuesday?
Thunder Tuesday.
It's sounds like Wednesday to me, but it's actually Tuesday.
It's terrific Tuesday.
That's right.
That was my dad. My dad posed. Terrific Tuesday, kids. Well, anyways, we're excited to see you all today. Hope you guys are doing good. As far as announcements goes, here's what we have this week. Tomorrow we got Bible Talk. We're trying to plan events for Thursdays in the future, and we'll definitely let you know when those are coming out. And then Sunday we have our live worship services that you can come to and experience life with other people once again, which is awesome. I actually get like tired a little bit, like socially tired by the end of the day because I wave a lot. And if you're like Lacey, the pre-K minister, she goes like this. She waves double hands to everybody. And
that
then
must be incredibly tiring.
for us, it's super tiring. I get a lot of, I stretch a lot. Or thank you, John, for participating. I just saw that he said he's participating. For all the cool guys out there, that's us, the cool guys. The fun service is the Sunday night service.
That's
Don't tell anyone
right.
else I said that, but still, it's a fun service. Y'all should come. It's outdoors. It's real chill. It's the
Throw a
exact
frisbee
same.
Around.
Yeah, it is the
Get a
exact
picnic
same
blanket.
as the previous services. It's just outside. So y'all have fun with that. And then Bible studies have been stopped for the summer. Hope you guys are using your time wisely. Josh, Lane, what have you been up to?
Man, enjoyed a good Father's Day. Went to church service with my family. Went to Tzatziki's for lunch. Got some good Greek food. Not the biggest fan of Greek food, to be honest. More of Italian guy myself, but it was good. It was tasty.
What
And then go ahead.
Beef feast? Is that what you said earlier?
I went the beef feast. The beef feast was only 4 little tiny strip steak pieces, but it was still good.
Moose is probably in his office laughing to himself because he just asked if your dad likes Greek food.
Yes, Mr. Daughtry loves Greek food.
John Musatelli, a hot dog. That's what he needs to be known as.
Then,
Josh, what have you been up to?
Josh, what'd you do?
So, yesterday, because the world is dumb, my prom got canceled. So
your prom?
My prom.
The homeschool prom. This is my homeschool H.
My mom didn't want to, but we had to cancel the homeschool prom. It was just couldn't happen. No, but in all seriousness, basically what we did is we got a couple friends together and we decided, hey, we'll just dress up and go to Red Robin. So that's what we did.
Hey,
that's pretty awesome.
I got the guacamole bacon burger.
Okay,
good choice.
I like some guac and bacon.
I said when I was there, I said this past year I have been falling more and more in love with guacamole. That will be relevant later. That will be relevant later.
If you wanna eat real cheap at Red Robin, but not necessarily too healthy, bottomless root beer float, bottomless steak fries, you can eat for $6 and be full.
Praise.
I got garlic fries.
Not very good for you.
Apparently, garlic fries are also bottomless, according to Eli Davis. I don't know how true that is, but
I think he's right.
Good.
I think he's right. I don't think there's a fry that they limit how many fry you can have. Fries. Anyways, that sounds fun. I don't love avocado, but when I go to Red Robin, I totally go for the Royal. It's got the egg on it. It's hefty. John Musatelli said garlic fries are unlimited. We now have someone to fact check our show. John Musatelli.
Maybe next Tuesday we should do a segment with like build your own burger and like sky's the limit. What is your perfect burger?
That's a good one.
I think that's great.
We'll save that away. make sure we do that.
Yes.
Yeah, John, write that down.
John, write that down.
Well, that's awesome. My weekend was great. Nolan's second birthday was yesterday, and I share a birthday weekend with him. So that was super fun. There are so many pictures of him crying because he doesn't like us looking at him that it's incredible. Nolan? Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can get one to
I'm looking at you, Nolan.
Hold on.
He's upset.
Oh, this was a good one. Hold on. This is not, I guess. So our next segment, we've got show and tell today. I'll just tell you what we have today. We've got show and tell. We've got some what if, like if you could survive in the wilderness, what 3 things are you taking with you? Yes, please comment what you would take with you in the chat. And then we've got some movie talk with Lane, and we've got a special segment coming back. It's gonna be fun, and then we've got Spit and Truth that we're gonna do at the end. But I guess I'll do my show and tell. It's just pictures of Nolan. Look at this.
Oh, nice.
Is it in focus?
I would like to see them.
This is him looking like he looks like he's proud he farted at the table. That's how he looks in this picture.
That is a Twombly if I've ever seen one.
Oh, 100%. And then this one I took yesterday. He's literally crying behind his birthday cake.
That's so sad.
It's art.
There's some emotional relevance to that, but you know.
Yeah. We told him he was gonna get his milk, and he was like, he just wanted milk. So we're like, here, have some cake, and he's like, it was incredible.
That cut was
other thing. I have another thing for show and tell. I'm gonna save it. Lane, what do you have for show and tell today?
Okay, so if you guys have seen my show and tells before, you're probably thinking, okay, Lane's about to show me one of 2 things. Either it's going to be another candle or another Lego set.
Yep.
You're both wrong. It is
what? No.
A BB-8 waffle iron.
The third option was a Star Wars branded something.
BB-8 waffles.
That's really cool.
Because of the design, they're kind of flat, so they're more like dense BB-8 pancakes.
Holy cow!
But it's great. You've got your minimum 2, 4, 6, 8 max. You can get like pretty much batter, or you can do crunchy. How long does it take
to cook on minimum on one of those suckers? One of them puppies.
Probably. I mean, I've only done it on like 8, so the lower setting probably is like 10 minutes. The highest setting's probably like 3 or 4.
Dang.
Good waffle iron. Good
that's
stuff.
A solid. It's gonna be tough to beat that, but I know Josh has got something pretty good.
Moose in the chat saying classy waffle iron. I just think of that episode of The Office where Jim just wants to make everything classy.
Or
when he walks in with the BB-8 waffle iron.
Foot stuck in a George Foreman because he wants to wake up the smell of bacon.
So the smell of bacon, he wakes up like an hour early.
Oh my god.
Good times.
So mine, I mentioned earlier that I've been falling more and more in love with guacamole. This is related to that. Because this is Chosen Foods traditional mayo with avocado oil, and you can get this from Costco. And what's great about this is that even if you don't like mayonnaise, it does not taste the same as mayonnaise. It is so much better. It's so much more rich and creamy, and it doesn't have. I don't know what it is about mayonnaise that was originally off-putting to me, but this got me into mayonnaise, and now I can eat any type of mayonnaise and I can enjoy it. So this can be anyone's gateway mayonnaise, and I recommend it. Again, Costco.
We were discussing it earlier. He was making Josh was making a grilled cheese. We were talking about mayonnaise. I'm very particular about my sauces. Either I love it or I hate it. So he was repping and talking about that good sauce. So.
Speaking of that, grilled cheese sandwich. If you make a grilled cheese sandwich, do not use butter. Brush it with mayonnaise. It doesn't matter what type of mayonnaise. Just put mayonnaise on it instead of butter. You will thank me.
Yeah. So he's talking about on the sides that fry on your grilled cheese. This is my sides thing. It really just looks like a fish. You put the mayonnaise on, let it fry on the mayonnaise, and then you got yourself a Sammy. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds pretty good.
Triangles or halves.
I did not start liking mayonnaise either until that's pretty good fish there, Lane. I didn't start liking mayonnaise until it was on a sandwich either, but I'm a purist. I go Duke's only. I accept Hellman's, Miracle Whip, not mayonnaise.
Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise.
I'm from the north, and I want you all to know that the northerners that swear by Miracle Whip, sorry, you're wrong.
See, I've never been a fan of mayonnaise, so I've never had that big strong of opinions on which brand is better. So I will trust your judgment.
Do it.
Here's my show and tell. Sorry for those of you who hate system games. This is NBA Live 2000. It does not run on a modern Windows.
Does it run on 98?
It does. It runs on 98, and it runs on the one that was after that. I don't remember what that
Vista?
was. It was not 99 for anyone who was wondering.
I want to have that just so I can try to get it running because I'm pretty sure that Windows is pretty good with backwards compatibility.
See, it is not. I have looked up several. Like modern Windows is not, the OS does not match. So what I had to do is I had to put it on this little USB drive here, which it fits on because it's just a PC game from the 2000s. I had to put it on this USB, and I had to basically download a classic Windows emulator, and the old Windows operating system works in my current operating system, and that's how I have not finished it, so I haven't played it yet, but that's how you play the game.
I have, Josh, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I have very little doubt that you could build a modern, very powerful PC.
Already has.
Slap Windows 98 on that thing, and it'll run like a dream.
It probably will. It will.
You just gotta make sure
until cockroaches die.
The only thing that would stop you is that you need to find drivers that were optimized for every part of your computer for Windows 98, and the only way you're gonna find those is if someone has custom made them on like some random forum somewhere on the internet.
Yeah,
it would be very expensive.
I would love that.
You know, if, like a modern gaming PC
with the RGB and everything, and it's like you boot it up and it's just Windows 98,
but it's on Windows 98.
Basically, just a Raspberry.
Yeah,
Raspberry Pis are so cool.
We're gonna move it along. Raspberry Pis are super cool. If you don't know what that is, you should look it up because there's like 2,000 games on them, and it's insane. It's awesome if you can get one. The next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about if you had to survive in the wilderness, how would you do it? So, you get 3 things. You get to pick your 3 things to survive in the wilderness. Now, this has been inspired by a TV series called Alone. It's where you try and survive in the wilderness alone. Easy enough.
I love survival shows.
Apparently, Tyler Holland has been watching this. He's been obsessed with it. He's been binging it. But he wasn't able to be here today, so we're gonna still do the section without him, and hopefully he's watching so he can enjoy it and tell us the thing that we're missing. Which, I mean, between the 3 of us, I feel like one of us could survive, right?
I hope so.
We'll let you comment in the section in order of last to first who would survive the longest.
Okay, are we surviving together or as individual parts?
As individuals.
This is Lane, what's your number 3? Don't starve together.
Number 3 object to bring with me?
Yeah.
Okay. We are in. Have we? The climate
we're in the jungle.
We're in the jungle.
Well, it says tundra, frozen tundra.
Yeah. When I asked him about it, he said just any survival scenario. So whatever you think would most commonly overlap, that's fine as well.
Okay, if we're in the jungle, a very common thing that happens in the jungle is it rains all the time.
100%.
So when it rains all the time, one thing that you have to watch out for is getting your feet wet.
Yeah.
So trench foot, I don't know if you've heard of that. Real bad news. No good.
I've had feet in trenches.
So my number 3 is going good, strong, sturdy pair of boots to keep my feet nice and dry.
All right.
Out of the elements.
I like it. Josh.
I am going to choose something that probably exists, however is a little bit unconventional. I'm going to go with a very sturdy auto-extending circus tent, so that I just have lots of room. I just have a house automatically.
How heavy is this?
Heavy enough that I can. It's light enough that I can take it into the tundra with me. However that works, I don't care.
Tundra or jungle.
Yeah,
Tundra
indeed.
I think
Anything.
I think it's fair to at least assume if you're in a jungle, if you're on an island, if you're in the wilderness, a reliable home is what you need. You definitely need that,
Yeah.
Josh. Despite the fact that I do not understand every aspect of your decision, I respect it, and I think you do need a home. So, with that, I'm going to go with my number 3. It's a machete. Or a machete. It doesn't really matter how you say it.
Yeah.
I need something to cut through trees. I'll figure out how to stack them into a home that is suitable for me and me alone, because there's no way my wife and son are following me into the jungle. At least I hope not. Then we've got a whole other problem on our hands.
Missionaries panic.
Yeah, machete. That's what I'm going with for my number 3. Lane, what do you got?
Okay. So my number 2 is going to be something that will be very useful in a wide variety of situations. So I'm going to bring like as much paracord as I can. I can use paracord for making shelters, like the circus tent that Josh talked about.
I like it.
Or I can use it as fishing line or to make traps for food. So yeah, my number 2 is paracord.
I like it.
Okay.
Josh,
Mine
what do you
is
got?
going to be. I'm going to choose something that I have at my house, which is a 6-wheel Polaris. Because if I need to go somewhere in order, like I'm going to set up my circus tent, and like it's gonna be big enough where I can pull the Polaris in there and it won't get wet. But like if I gotta go get food, like if my tent is for some reason set up in somewhere like away from the water or like away from the trap, I just drive the Polaris and it's not a big deal.
Do you have a question, Twombly?
What's a Polaris?
It's like,
It's like a John
ATV.
Deere Gator.
Yeah, it's like a Gator.
So a Tesla?
Yes.
I go with Tesla.
It's a glorified 4-wheeler golf cart.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah, no, but like heavily glorified.
Yeah. There you go. He gets around fast. Is it electric? How does this work?
It will be solar. It will be solar powered for the purposes of I don't have to figure out. I don't have to.
For the purpose of
I don't have to rationalize the way that I get gas.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like Twombly and I are living very minimalist, and then Josh is just being real bougie.
My number 2 is not near as cool as what you guys said. I'm going with a fishing net because I don't know how to knit, and I need to eat. So, assuming that there is a body of water with at least piranha or some form of trout or another form of aquatic creature, I'm gonna go with.
I do like
fishing
trout.
net.
Trout is delicious.
Maurice the Great said he would just leave the wilderness.
No, but you have to survive for 100 days. We decided we did
that an option.
No, that was not an option. It was we had to survive for 100 days.
Because if that's the case, if that's
surviving for 100 days, totally forgot that rule.
If that's the case, then my number 1's going to be a helicopter, and I'm just going to fly away. But I don't think that's part of the rule.
So what is your real number 1?
My real number 1, like you said, Twombly, and I'm going to say a really big Bowie knife. So very similar.
Yeah.
Keeping it sharp, keeping it sturdy, keeping it good.
I like it. Josh.
Okay. I'm gonna choose this avocado. No, I'm joking. No, what I'm actually going to choose is, like you said, I'm going to choose just a good, sturdy hunting knife, because if I need to, like, skin animals, or properly prepare them for consumption so that I don't die, I feel like the knife is probably going to be the best thing. The only other option that I would think of is a complete download of every single primitive technology video and a way to watch them.
You know, that's not a bad idea.
Living the life of luxury, Josh.
It's like
he has nothing to eat.
It's like
he can travel. He's got a home and he watches TV. It basically is
no. It's primitive technology so that I can make stuff. Primitive technology is all
what's
about
your
making
favorite
stuff.
tool that you brought? I brought my Kindle.
Not even a Kindle Fire or a Paperwhite, just like an original regular
you think a
Kindle
Fire would be more useful because the word fire is in there.
Amy Johnson says glamping, which I think glamorous camping. I would
yeah, basically Josh is glamping.
I'll bring an old Samsung to make a fire.
My number one is flint. I'm bringing flint. I want to make a fire. I need to stay warm. Look, guys, I respect the tent. I respect, I don't know what Lane's other two were, but I need to eat. I gotta cut stuff.
And
boots.
Rope.
All right, there's an argument there. I gotta eat. I gotta be warm because it gets cold on those rainy nights. I guess without a house, I don't have to cover it. Anyways, that was good. I like that.
I do have one question for you, Tombly.
Yeah, let me hear it.
I see your flint. Flint is very important. We are in the rainforest, in the jungle. How do you burn all this soaking wet wood?
How? Just blow it off, like just until it dries. Just like I'm gonna do a lot of that.
No, burning wet wood is a challenge.
On dry days, I'm gonna go out of my way maybe to cut some limbs down and place them in a spot that I will make a nice dry area.
If only you had a nice big dry area to dry firewood.
Be quiet, Kindle Fire.
All right, so now we have to talk about who would. We're just gonna do it really fast. Who would die first? We're gonna say the same name, not the same name. We're gonna say a name on 3, 2, 1. We're gonna say a name and see who said it first. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Josh.
Yeah. Let's see. I think Lane. What did you say?
Josh.
What?
Since he's the one glamping, I can see why you'd say that. But I definitely am with Josh.
Here's the thing.
I would die first.
Yeah?
I picked the right tools. That doesn't mean I know how to use them.
That's fair. See, I think I very comfortably for like 5 or 6 days, and then he'd be like, I can't see the sun for my solar-powered Polaris.
All right, we're gonna talk about who would die second. 3, 2, 1. Josh.
Me.
Thanks, Josh, for sure. He's out here glamping.
No.
The most well-equipped to live in the wilderness, but
I'm kind of annoyed because I have a hunting knife, and I'm assuming that I will be able to use the things around me because listen, I watch Bear Girls. I know what I'm doing. I know how to use the things around me to make like a fishing net. Or like I could even just make a spear and just go spear fishing in like a creek nearby or whatever is available to me. Like the reason I got these things is because those are things that I'm not able to make on my own. I'm not able to make a house for myself, and I'm not able to make a practical mode of transportation that is safe. But I can. But if I have a knife, I can make food for myself, and I know how to start a fire. And it's like I thought this through. It's big brain time.
I don't know.
Lane's got boots
are a pretty good method of transportation.
I'm with Lane on this one. He wins. All right, so here's the next thing that we're going to do. We're going to do some movies with Lane. Just agree to disagree.
All right.
We're going to do movies with Lane. We're going to talk about movies that you would walk out of. Guys, has there ever been a movie you walked out of? You can answer in the comments.
Tell us,
Lane,
tell us what you think. Give us a movie title or situation. Okay, so this is an idea for people that's like, do you not like the movie? Was the plot bad? Was it have bad language in it or other stuff like that? Was there somebody annoying that was throwing popcorn in the theater? So this is going to be a very loose definition of what would make you walk out of a theater.
I think that's fair.
I have never actually walked out of a movie.
Me either.
Because of quality or content or bad company. But I will tell you a movie that I was very disappointed in, and then I will give you some criteria for a situation that I would leave the theater for.
All right. Before you do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before you do that, Josh, has there ever been a movie that you've walked out of?
Nope.
Has there ever been a movie you hated so much that you turned off?
There's been I've never walked out of a movie theater. I did not like. Napoleon Dynamite did not keep me enthralled enough. I walked. I just went to go do something else because I was so bored with it.
That's sad. I enjoy dumb humor, and
I really enjoy Napoleon Dynamite, but
I was like 10, so I may like it. I may like it more now. I just thought it was really cringy and boring, so I just went to go do something else.
Yeah, you may appreciate it more now. There's this one movie. The cast is pretty awesome. It's called Aloha. Aloha Cast. Let me just read off.
Is it like a rom-com?
Yeah, it's a romantic comedy. It's Emma Stone, Rachel McAdams, Bradley Cooper. Most of these names mean nothing to people.
Heard about
John
that.
Krasinski, Bill Murray. All right, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. I wish I had turned it off.
That's a great cast.
The cast is incredible. There's zero plot. It takes a bunch of twists and turns that don't make sense. Also, it's rated PG-13. I don't remember anything about the movie. Kids, if you're out there, which it says 10 of you are, just forget I ever said anything about the movie. It was awful. I think that would, for me, criteria-wise, that would be the defining character, is like how much of a plot doesn't make sense. Like if it really is bad and there's no story, there's nothing that I attach to, I'll turn it off. I don't even care. Lane, let's hear it.
Okay, so the one movie that I saw that I was just severely disappointed with was the third installment, part 3 of Peter Jackson's The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies.
Really?
It was just, I mean, like for the legend Peter Jackson, for me to see so much CGI and like extraneous stuff that did not matter to the story, I was like, this is uncalled for. This is a disgrace to Lord of the Rings and the Middle Earth like lore, and it made me upset.
Yeah. So what are your criteria for movies that you would walk out of, despise, advertise as not watching?
Right. So a couple things that I think are some good things to look out for is a plot that is very, very slow, or a movie that just doesn't understand what its plot is. Where it's like if the movie doesn't know what it's doing and where its characters like where they want to be, then like the director probably didn't know what they were doing, didn't know what they wanted to make, probably shouldn't finish it.
Yeah.
If the movie has content that is like extreme PG-13 or above, that is very unnecessary to tell the story properly,
sure,
I think just let it be. I won't go into detail about that. I also think that if there are people in the theater that are causing trouble, that are being loud or talking or just being rude, I think that is your time to go talk to somebody behind the concession stand or in the hallway and be like, hey, there's some people in this theater that are causing trouble, and I think either I'm going to leave or they need to leave, so something needs to be done. That is my criteria.
I like it. I definitely think maybe an underrated one is if it's just that far off from like the series. Like Netflix is coming out with their Narnia series. I'm real nervous about it. I'm real nervous. Right. If it is not as close to the books as it can be, then I think I might fight Josh. So anyways,
one thing that I've done is I stopped watching the latest season of Flash that just got added to Netflix.
Okay.
And the reason is because I started watching it after coming off of finishing Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I stopped watching it because the conflict in Flash is so like it felt so like disconnected from everything that was happening, especially compared to like how like when you see a good story like an Avatar, you can't go to Flash and have everything just be so disconnected and odd.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
be off and still enjoy it, which is why I just stopped
Thanks,
watching it.
thanks CW,
Sure.
you're the worst.
Yeah.
Woo!
Anyway.
So, appreciate those comments.
Yeah.
Lane, you got a couple minutes. It's time for Candles with Lane. We haven't done it
That's
in like a
right.
month. This is exciting.
You thought I wasn't showing you candles today. You thought it was only going to be a waffle maker, but you're wrong. I do have candles. Here we go. So I bought these both at my local Walmart on Jordan. This one, they're both Better Home and Gardens brand. That's a Walmart brand. Good stuff. This one is Blue Harbor Cove. It's got a nice blue color to it. It's nice. It's got like a coconutty, sandy smell to it. Very nice. And then the second one I have, we keep this in our bathroom. This one is Smoky Gray Mist. It's very nice. As you can see, it is indeed smoky gray in color.
It's kind of purple.
It smells. Yeah. So the way I would describe that smell is like
laughing.
if you've ever walked
your
down
of aerosol is not as funny as you thought.
Continue.
So have you ever walked out on your front porch like the morning after it's rained and there's like fog everywhere?
Oh yeah.
And it's just kind of humid, but it's like cold humid, not like warm humid. It's got that kind of vibe to it.
It smells like ozone.
It smells like thick air.
smells like Teen Spirit.
I don't think that it's that.
Any Nirvana fans out there?
So do you definitely try to pick your candles depending on the season? Like if you just go all in?
You know, we could talk about seasonal candles next time, like what are fall candles, what are summer candles. I usually don't. I'm the person that'll be like, oh, it's May. I'm gonna listen to my favorite Christmas song because I don't care about seasons.
Anarchist.
But yes, I do think candles complement the season for sure.
Huh. I like your opinion. We'll talk about it another day. We're gonna do Spit and Truth. Today it's with Lane. We're gonna do an old family classic, 1 Peter 4. You ready, Lane?
That's right. So how this is going to work is I'm going to read this passage. We are in 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 12 through 19. I'm going to read those, give us a little bit of description, and then toss it over to Josh and Tyler, see what they think.
Amen.
So here we go. Starting in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12.
1.
Here we go. It says, "Dear friends, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal that has come on you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you. But rejoice inasmuch as you participate in the sufferings of Christ, so that you may be overjoyed when his glory is revealed. If you are insulted because of the name of Christ, you are blessed, for the Spirit of glory and of God rests on you. If you suffer, it should not be as a murderer or thief or any other kind of criminal, or even as a meddler. However, if you suffer as a Christian, do not be ashamed, but praise God that you bear that name. For it is time for judgment to begin with God's household. And if it begins with us, what will the outcome be for those who do not obey the gospel of God? And if it is hard for the righteous to be saved, what will become of the ungodly and the sinner? So then, those who suffer according to God's will should commit themselves to their faithful Creator and continue to do good." So, what this passage is saying to us as Christians is saying, like, hey guys, if we are living a life according to the gospel, if we are honoring Christ with our lives, there are groups of peoples that are not going to like it, that are going to make fun of us, or like we see with Paul, throw him in prison or even hurt him physically. or and suffer in different kinds of ways. I
Hmm.
think that if we are really living boldly in our faith, maybe not in America with the culture we have, but maybe in some foreign countries where people are on mission for the gospel. If we are living for Christ, then you might suffer to one degree or another. And I also
Hmm.
think that if we're living for Christ, He will give us trials so that we experience sanctification through those trials to help us trust in Him and have better faith. So, Josh, Tyler, what do y'all think about this passage?
So, I I think that it's very interesting that Paul mentions that you shouldn't react to suffering as if it was just some strange thing that you were not expecting. It's interesting
Right,
because I've heard a lot how from parents and others who say like the American culture does not value suffering, and people who are
right,
in people who have cancer, for instance, or like other not specifically terminal, but other illnesses that don't fully go away. Um,
sure,
Living with that kind of suffering is something that the culture at large doesn't understand, and it's interesting because even in the church, at some points it can be like people expect that if you pray for someone who has this big illness, that like you should always just expect that God will immediately heal them, and instead of understanding, hey, suffering is just a part of life, and as Christians we should embrace suffering and realize this is just for our sanctification.
Hmm.
right. I also
Yeah.
think in our modern culture, we live in a culture that is very like instant gratification. So like, okay, I
Yeah.
want to watch a TV show. I have Netflix, or I want to eat some food. I have a microwave to warm up some food, and we want things immediately. And I think with God, especially, He gives us opportunities and situations where we have to have patience, and we have to see things through the long way with a process that we don't always enjoy and that we're not always used to or comfortable with.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I definitely think we don't think about suffering very much in our culture. I do think we have a relatively adequate grasp at personal or physical suffering in the kind of suffering that you're talking about, Josh. Like, I mean, I definitely think people are like, if you pray for healing, you're hoping it happens sooner rather than later, and there's not much of a
Sure.
concept on God's timing. Um, but I think what we lose is a sense of like social suffering. So like Paul is specifically suffering because he looks other people think that he looks stupid because he's preaching the gospel and it's anti the way that they're living. And so he is subject to public shame and suffering in a different way. For us, we go out of our way to avoid thinking about public shame that way. You might have internal shame, but we don't really like if someone struggles with something else, we're just kind of like, that's just you, that's not me, whatever. In other cultures in the world, like in China or in the Middle East, there's a much more like if you were to become a Christian, your family is shamed because of that. It's not just about you, so their decision looks different. Whereas in the United States, if you preach the gospel, it could just be that's you, and it's not like how it represents your own group because we're more individualistic. So I think we have to be ready to say like, I'm ready to be put to shame. I'm okay looking bad in front of other people. I'm okay making people think Christians are about preaching the gospel, and we need to accept that kind of public shame in a different way. Um,
Yeah.
and I think Paul is saying, look, if you're a Christian, you need to expect this kind of suffering, along with the physical and personal suffering that we see. And I think these verses are very important right now for our time because if you say something that is against what the culture is professing, whether it's in social media, on like Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, whatever people do, or on in the news or whatever your friend groups believe. If you don't believe those things, then you're immediately outcast. And I think we need to accept that the gospel is completely different than the way that the world thinks. And we need to say Jesus is better than being accepted by those ideologies. And I want to strive for what he has for me, because there's not anything better than he is. Yeah. So Lane, thank you for the Bible talk. It was great. I had a lot of fun talking to you guys today. I hope you guys had fun watching. Stay classy and be bright. It might be stay bright.
Bye, guys. Bye. Have a good week.
Are we cringe yet?
Yes.